So today it's time for the first dose of fertilizer onto the lawn, and I'm going to be going over 3 distinct sections of my yard that I kind of treat differently, why I do that, and then we're going to actually add some fertilizer to each one. So hopefully you'll learn something about various different types of programs and maybe how that will apply to your lawn as well. Let's get after it. So this back here is the not discussed area outside the fence, and really I treat this as a very minimal input yard. So probably about 3 fertilizations a year. There's no irrigation back here, so I pretty much just leave it whatever happens with our rainfall, and I kind of do that so that I can show you some people don't want to go to a ton of work in their yard. They want to fertilize a couple times a year. They kind of want to let things be. And in order for me to show you sort of what that looks like in that type of program, I wanted one section that I can do that. And so that's really what I've done. Over the last couple years, it's definitely started to suffer from that program compared to some of the rest of the things that I'm doing. But that's really part of the experiment and showing you, if you're just gonna do some minimal things, you can have a green, nice yard. If you wanna be more detailed on everything, then obviously you can have some better results as well. Now, one of the other major things back here is that the slope is kind of a pain to deal with. So I don't really like doing a lot back here anyway because of that. So it just makes sense for me to make this a minimal input thing. That way I don't have to be going too crazy with hoses and irrigation and trying to get this thing watered. On the slope, it just becomes more difficult to do. So because of that minimal program as well, and what I want to show you, I just use fertilizers that you can get at your store. So this is something from Menards, but there's a lot of generic things you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot that would be similar. Okay, so the benefit obviously of a fertilizer like this from the store is that you're going to have your settings right on the bag. And if you get a spreader like this cheaper spreader or the Scott's one that I have, then obviously it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it for beginners. And for anyone beginning here, that's probably the scariest thing, is that they feel like they don't know exactly what setting to use. They don't know exactly how to spread, or they just haven't done this before, so they're just uncomfortable with it. But these types of products take the guesswork out of it. If I had to pick something from a store that I feel like is a really good product, the Scott stuff has really good ingredients in there. The prill size is small, it spreads evenly. You just pay more for it. So there's various options at the store, it just depends on your budget. So today I'm just gonna go off of this. That's basically what I do, as if I was just following the bag directions. So we have a setting of 4.25. It's a 2803, so we have total nitrogen 28% and 3% of the potassium. Now I'm going to speak a little bit about soil testing once we get to the inside of the fence section and kind of why that's important. But for right now, let's just get this put down. So this is a fairly easy process for those who have never done broadcast spreading before. You just want to be moving along at a fairly good pace, keep it steady, and when you make a turn, you want to be spreading the fertilizer back to the previous wheel mark of where you just came down on that other pass. This will make sure you have good, even coverage, and it's a way to kind of keep track of where you're at as well, so you keep straight lines and you don't have anything wavy going on. Now after this, it's ideal if you can water this in. It will activate it quicker, or do this right before a rainfall and have the rain do it for you. So if you'd like to be on a sort of minimal input program like this for cool season grass, then I would be looking at 1 to 2 doses of fertilizer in the spring, and then 2 doses of fertilizer in the fall. Timing on this, you could probably do about mid-May in our area if you were just going to do 1 fertilization in the spring and then 2 in the fall. Fall is the best time to get your fertilizer down for cool season lawns, which will propel you into the next spring. So don't miss out on those, but let's say you wanted a 3 to 4 application a year type of program, then that's what I would do for general timing for cool season grass. So inside of the backyard has been typically a similar program, but usually I do a few more inputs, and definitely what also changes here is that I do try to add irrigation to it. Now I don't have an irrigation system back here, so it's always been done with a sprinkler and a hose, and that continues right now to this day. That's the main difference between the outside section and this inside section, is that I do try to keep up with the irrigation throughout the summer. So today I'm going to be spreading a product in the backyard that is pretty much one of my favorite fertilizers that I've ever used, and unfortunately it does not exist anymore. So this is the 818 product from Carbon Earth that I still had some left in my shed, and I'm kind of saving it for just a few different uses here and there. Obviously I can't get it anymore, but I see a lot of people online with fertilizers who say, I wonder if this fertilizer will work for me, or I'm going to buy this fertilizer and what kind of results have you seen? And they're asking other people about it. Well, that is really where your soil test comes in, and it's not a difficult process to really understand which fertilizers are going to work best for you. So for me, this year I performed my soil test again. I found out that I still have plenty of phosphorus in my soil, so I don't really need a fertilizer that adds that. Also, I have a high pH, so I know that ammonium sulfate is going to be the best type of nitrogen option for me to try to lower that pH back into the optimal range. So there doesn't really have to be any guesswork to it. Once you have a soil test, at least you could look at your macronutrients of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and you can use that to see what type of fertilizer you can target. And there's not really any guessing game as to what's going to work for you. Of course, there are more things involved in terms of quality ingredients. You have to have a quality product to get a quality result. But in general, I just wanted to make sure you understand that once that good lab soil test is in place, you don't have to really do any guessing. You can know for sure what your program should be. So same exact type of program with fertilizing with that fertilizer. It does have a very small prill size, so it's easy to spread. It's one of my favorite fertilizers that I've ever spread. Again, as I said, I wish that it still existed, but unfortunately it doesn't, so I have to kind of ration what I have. Same thing applies here. You want to get it watered in or apply it before a rainfall so that you can get it activated, get it working on the lawn. Now the last type of program that I do in my lawn is something called more of a spoon feeding program. Now this can be done with a granular, especially like that granular that I just used that has a really small prill size, so you can apply smaller amounts. Ideally, it's best if it's done with a liquid or a soluble fertilizer that you can spray on the lawn. Today I'm going to be showing you exactly how I do that, a couple different product options, and then one that I just came out with myself. So a product from Lawn Supply Company here that I started this year, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So essentially how a program like this works is that you're just giving the lawn small amounts of fertilizer more frequently, and this helps it so that you don't have any surge growth. You're not waiting for a granular product to break down. You have a lot more control over the fertilizer on your lawn. Now specifically on a low cut turf like I have out front, this is very important because you don't want to all of a sudden have an inch of growth every day that you just can't take care of. So a program like that works perfectly, but it doesn't have to be just on low cut turf. The project lawn that I did across the street with my neighbor, he's been doing this type of program this year. I think he's got 3 doses of fertilizer on of liquids with the Simple Lawn Solutions products, and he's been doing this about every 2 weeks or so, and right now his lawn looks absolutely fantastic. So it's not a program that you have to just say this is only for low cut turf. It does work on taller turf as well. It just depends kind of how much you want to be out in the yard working on it. For most people, a granular to put it down, let it be, and just let it go to work, that's kind of what they're after. But for other people who like to be out in the yard, they like to have more control over everything, this is a great program. So when you want to do a spoon feeding program, or you want to be using a backpack in order to add your fertilizer to your lawn, liquids are probably the most convenient way to do this. You simply just measure out what you need, and you put it into the sprayer mixed with water, and you're good to go. The only problem with this is that liquids can get pretty expensive to ship, and a lot of times the use rates mean that it's not going to go quite as far. So what I wanted to do is be able to offer a product with high quality ingredients. It goes a long way, multiple applications for most people in their yard, and it comes in at a very affordable price. So the way to do that is with a soluble fertilizer. I'm gonna show you the process here on how you get this mix, but essentially just measure out your product, mix it into some water, and pour it into your sprayer. And this is gonna be the most affordable way that you can get a high quality product onto your lawn and have enough product for most lawns to do multiple applications. So I got 4,000 square feet out front to spray today. So I have 4 gallons of water. I'm gonna be putting down 1 gallon of water per 1,000 square feet. So rates on this are 4 to 8 ounces per 1,000 square feet of the equalizer. Today I'm going to be applying the 8 ounce rate. So I have 4,000 square feet again, so I need 8 times 4, so 32 ounces total of this product. 32 ounces, 2 pounds. I'm going to measure it out on my scale, and it should be a pretty easy process. So you want to get your scale on, and then you want to put your container on there, and then zero that out. So you hit that again, the tare, put 32 ounces or 2 pounds into this container. The stuff actually kind of looks like pixie sticks. Kind of looks appetizing, honestly. £2 pounds right there. Alright, so now it's pretty much as simple as adding the product and getting it into the water. So if you have hard water like I do, Then the fixer product, I'm adding 0.5 ounces per gallon. That's going to help with the hard water to break down some of that stuff. Sometimes soluble fertilizer can have difficulty in hard water to fully come into solution, so this product helps with that. You can also apply it directly to the soil to help break down some of those carbonates in your soil. So it's kind of a dual use product, but for this application I'm going to be using 0.5 ounces per gallon. Now carefully put this in the backpack sprayer. Ready to rock and roll. So remember that if you're looking at the nitrogen rates here, you're going to be putting down a lot less on the ground than if you were using a granular product. This is again the whole point of spoon feeding, so that you have more control over that. You're feeding the plant in small amounts and more frequently. So for this product specifically, I'm at right under 0.1 pounds of N in this application. And with this product as well, we were able to add nanosilica technology. It's something that's been used in agriculture a lot to allow fertilizer to be used more efficiently at low rates and enter the plant more efficiently. So for me on this 4,000 square feet, if I'm using an 8 ounce rate and 2 pounds total for the 4,000 square feet, this 10-pound bag that we have, I'm able to get 5 applications out of that. I'm really proud to come out with this product for people who want an affordable option for spoon feeding lawns. They don't mind just a little bit of mixing to get it done. After you get this product applied, you want to let it sit on the leaf blade just for a few minutes to let that soak in. Then you are going to want to get your water on or water in the product. Right now I'm still right around 70 degrees, so it's totally fine to be applying in the midday, but if it gets hotter during the summertime, don't be applying during the midday sun. Applying the early morning or early evening is going to be your best bet. The other thing with this is you don't have to switch completely to a program like this. You could still use a granular program, and sometimes throughout the year where you feel like you're just lacking just a little bit, then you could add a dose of something like this at that point. Still use your granular program. It's kind of a hybrid thing that you can do as well. The other thing is that this can be used on your plants or ornamentals as well, so keep that in mind too, not just for lawn uses. So I have a couple more soluble products coming out as soon as we can get some packaging for everything. There's a whole lot of packaging shortages for a lot of different things right now, so we're working on that part of it, but I will have a 12-0-12 coming and a micronutrient soluble that is coming as well. I hope today you were able to learn something about some different methods of fertilization, kind of some different approaches that I do in my lawn with some different programs as well. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.